All right. Hi. So I chose to do welding as my installation piece. Um, it was something that I didn't have any experience in prior. So that was kind of cool to explore that welding as a medium. Um, my father-in-law helped me. He's very creative in welding. So through drawing and like melting and cutting with all types of tools, I was able to create this, and I'm quite proud of it. So why I created this piece in the way I did. So my grade 4 outcome was the importance of water to First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. My music outcomes were about emotion and music in the relation to music and movement, as well as the sharing of FNMI culture through music and how that is like cyclical, just like a life cycle, which is kind of displayed here as well with the skeleton and with the whole fish. As for line in this, there's a lot of curves. I heated up the metal and was able to bend certain parts of it to create that movement. The skeleton is bent a little bit more here, as you can see. That is also because of the movement. A skeleton would bend more freely without the skin on it, I guess. Horizontal lines, we talked a lot in class about how that kind of gave a serenity look. So to me, that was more of the horizontal lines showing the swimming in the ocean. Diagonal lines represent movement. One fish is chasing the other fish. So the fish that is eating this guy is kind of supposed to be tilted up, so his mouth is at a diagonal angle to the other fish. Coloring of this, went just with the natural coloring of the metal, looks a little raw and rustic. The metal naturally changes color with the heat application, so there is some varying shades, which you can see here. To my understanding, that's because of how the metal reacts when the heat is applied, how much heat is applied, and how long it's applied for. These are cooler colors, they're kind of grays and blues. Obviously, when the metal heats up, it can turn red, but then turns back to lighter colors, as you can see here. This is where the heat would have touched the metal, leaving it a cool tone. This piece is interesting is for texture because it's both smooth and rough. The places where the heat was used to cut the metal out, that's where we're left with some rough texture around in different places. It's especially evident on the back. You can see how rough some of these places are and how much buildup, I suppose, is on that from the heat, from the melting and the welding. It was very difficult to control the texture at this level. There was a few spots that if you look closely, you can see are a lot thicker. Those are the parts where my father-in-law had to take over to help because I simply just couldn't get the cuts that I needed without completely melting chunks of the fish. Perspective, I have one fish in front of the other. As well, the coral that I've chosen to build is in different positions along here. Some of them are stacked up in twos into a single. It's better to see it there, I guess. That gives some definition. It also brings some depth to the piece. You can realize that it's not all linear. That also helps it take up some space, so it's kind of making it into a scene rather than just a flat picture perspective. The coral kind of allows your eye to wander so that you see that this is taking up more space. I have positive space here as it's light, so that's how you can see the gills, the fins, the eyes. So that's another part about that. It kind of adds illusion to the detail that you know it's these fins and gills, but it's interesting to see how that comes through as like negative and positive space. As for form, it's quite rectangular. However, it is quite natural in nature. We know lots of things are not perfect. As with welding, this is not perfect. Yeah, pretty proud of it.